Ms. Jenny Anthony, who is serving in the capacity right now as Circuit Court Clerk, will have her opening statement, followed by Mr. Morris. Jenny?
Good evening. I'm Jenny Anthony, Circuit Court Clerk for Coffee County. I continue to seek this position out of love for our office and our work family and the service that we provide to our county. My intentions for this position is not to gain control, power, or self-gain, nor has anyone influenced me to seek this position. I have only had interest in this position as Circuit Court Clerk. I am a conservative Christian, a faithful wife of 22 years, a dedicated mother to my 2 children, and I am a Coffee County native and have lived here all my life. I've had the pleasure of raising my children here in Coffee County on our small farm near Rutledge Falls. I'm honest and I believe about going about things the right way. I'm passionate and I'm a hard worker. I'm loyal and committed to this office and to the citizens of Coffee County. I was appointed as Circuit Court Clerk by the Coffee County Commission a year ago. I have 22 years of office experience and I have worked in the Circuit Court Clerk's office for 5 consecutive years. Our work family is hard working and knowledgeable in all that they do, and it would be devastating to the court system to see this change. Being Circuit Court Clerk has allowed me to gain experience in all courts and knowledge in all daily operations in the office. As Circuit Court Clerk, I have successfully prepared and managed a budget that is a little over $1 million, with every dollar being accounted for. Within 3 weeks of my appointment, employee raises were passed and without a budget increase. A completed software conversion helped eliminate thousands of dollars from our budget, and we were able to upgrade our software program that allowed judges and attorneys to view court cases and documents online. All of
Jenny,
these,
let me interrupt you right there. Can you get just a little bit closer to the mic? Some
You can
people are having a little,
sorry,
little difficult time hearing.
it seems loud to me.
I know, I understand.
Okay. All of these things were accomplished through the challenging times of the pandemic. I am working on numerous other projects to make our office more efficient and convenient for the citizens of Coffee County. Serving as Circuit Court Clerk during this time has not only given me the experience in this position, but it has allowed me the opportunity to prove that I am the right person for this position. I have proven through my life experiences that I'm honest, responsible, and loyal as a wife, mother, and employee, and that I have all the right characteristics that this office and county needs for this position. I have stayed true to the Republican Party and the moral values it stands for. I have always been passionate and loyal about my work upon being hired, and I have never considered pursuing another career for better opportunity or pay. I continue to seek this position for all the right reasons. As a public servant, out of the love of this office, the hard-working staff that comes along with it, to serve the county with fair and correct decisions, always with professionalism, kindness, and a humble heart. I would like to share my favorite quote with you tonight. I always pray to have eyes to see the best in people, a heart that forgives the worst, a mind that forgets the bad, and a soul that never loses faith in God. Thank you.
Thank you. Josh?
Is this close enough?
Yes.
You back off.
All right. Well, first of all, thank you for allowing us to be here tonight. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for the residents of Coffee County that come out tonight, and also that's listening online. I know we have a lot of speeches and stuff to listen to tonight, so I'm going to do something a little bit different. When I'm out campaigning and stuff and talking to the residents of Coffee County, 4 or 5 questions they usually ask me, and one is my background in education. I have a college degree from the University of Tennessee in sociology, which I think preps me to be knowledgeable of the Circuit Court Clerk's position. Also had a baseball scholarship there. Question number 2 that I normally get is, did you ever work in the clerk's office? And that is yes. I worked there a little bit over 5 years. I was lucky enough to be trained and work in every court system. I also work with judges, attorneys, police force, also DCS, and youth services. I was also lucky enough to, whenever we had new software programs and stuff that come into the office, being able to learn that software program and also train other employees with it. The third question, usually after that, they usually ask me, well, what other experiences do you have? My whole entire professional career, I've either managed people, trained people, or in customer service. I also work with multi-million dollar budgets, also not only in my previous career, but my career that I'm in now. The fourth question usually is, if I was elected, what would I do different? One thing that I would do is when you call the clerk's office, you'll get a human being to talk to. It won't be an automated system. You will also get a lot of customer service and people that are glad to see you and help you, because most of the time, if you're up at the clerk's office, you're probably not going to be in a good mood anyway. One major thing that I want to do is put kiosks and places in Tullahoma and Manchester, making it accessible for people to pay their fines and tickets without actually having to come up to the office. In order to pay for that, there's grants and also other ways to get that without it costing the Coffee County taxpayers money. I know this because I've met with other clerks in the county and also outside of our county and worked with them, just getting ideas and stuff on how they do this, how they accomplish this, and other ways outside the box that help the citizens of Coffee County. Last but not least, they asked me about my family. I'm married to my beautiful wife, Amy Abbott Morris. Her parents are Kathy and Tommy Abbott from Tullahoma. My mom and dad is Ricky and Melinda Morris. I'm the oldest of 4 children, and my brother's a professional baseball player, and luckily I told him everything he knows.
Kind of wrap up.
Thank you.
Okay, you're fine. All right, so Jenny started, so we're going to go with Josh with the first question. Sorry,
It's all right.
a lot of y'all I consider good friends, so it's hard for me not to call you by your first name. Please don't be offended by that if I do.
Not at all.
We're just hometown people. Okay, this is the first question, first for Mr. Morris, and then Ms. Anthony will have a chance to answer this question as well. Josh, how would you determine priorities when you have numerous tasks to do inside the office? I know if you don't understand that, but we all have jobs where we have to multitask. And how are you about doing that?
I think being a manager and a leader, and I've done that pretty much my whole life, you have to be very prepared and very detail-oriented on what you want to do. The biggest thing is keeping our doors open and accessible to the Coffee County citizens. Sorry about that. I'm not a politician, so.
That's okay.
Anyway, I would just have a list of what is most important of the office. The main things that we do at the office and stuff is keep records and also collect money with our budget. And then we do a ton of customer service, helping people get them in the right position, get them where they need to go. Also working with the judges with their calendar and stuff on when we have court dates. And just another big thing is keeping our website updated. So I think the more information and stuff that you give people and the more information that you give them, it helps them. So I would just prioritize of what I feel like would be important to the office and just go from those steps down the line, like I would do in any management position that I've had.
Okay. Ms. Anthony, do you need the question repeated?
No, that's okay.
Okay, if you would, pull that microphone a little bit closer. I just had a text message, so I'm just trying to make sure that we hear you clearly.
Is that better?
There we go.
Okay, very good. Well, I take each day at a time. So the Circuit Court Clerk's office, we have 5 different departments within the Circuit Court Clerk's office. And depending on that day, each day, a challenge or a new challenge will present itself. So you just have to take one day at a time and decide how you're going to spend your day. Sometimes you don't know how that's going to happen, but Definitely, court dockets are most important in making sure court is being held on time and all of those responsibilities are being taken care of. Court is what we do, and it is priority. And making sure it runs smoothly, making sure all the departments are covered with staff and help, and if there's ever needed, if there's ever needed someone to fill in, if we don't have, with COVID and people being out, it's important to make sure everyone's covered.
Okay. You good with that?
Well,
You still have a little more time.
Well, no, okay, well, that's fine, we can stop from there.
Okay,
I could talk a long
it's your
time
time.
about one certain thing, so it's,
It's your time, so you do have a few more
that's fine,
seconds.
we can go on to the next.
Okay, all right. This one will be for you, so we'll just come back right back to you. And if you need to finish up those thoughts, we can take a few seconds to do that. What has been the hardest challenge at your office? Because we all know that each office is different. How do you handle those problems that come up? What's your goal and all that? I know everybody's going to say, well, we just fix it. Well, a little more detailed than that of how you go about looking into problems and trying to fix those particular problems that come up.
Well, I feel like it's very important to communicate with the staff and figure out where the problem is coming from. Communication goes a long ways. And just really listening and having your ears open and listening to whatever the issue may be. I don't really know how else to answer that question.
That's perfectly fine. Some questions are going to be shorter answers than others, trust me. Josh, same thing to you, just kind of going back in time when you worked there, about handling questions and concerns that come up inside the office, whether it be, and Jenny kind of brought this up, about whether it be, is it employees, is it someone from the public, how do you go about handling difficulties?
I feel like I've been blessed as a servant and also almost like a mediator throughout my professional career. Definitely listening and taking each circumstance kind of under its own thing and just listening. When problems and stuff arise, I've been very, very successful at calming a situation down, no matter if it's been employees, whether it's in the healthcare world, whether it be an irate parent, loved one, or somebody that in the clerk's office that comes to the front counter wanting help, maybe confused, and gets upset, gets a little loud. I've always been able to deflect that in just about every situation. So each situation is different, but like I said again, I've been very, very blessed to be a mediator and cool under pressure and just listening and taking care of the problem.
Okay. Josh, we'll stay with you with this next question. What is your method for ensuring that all court records stay up to date? And I'm not throwing shade either way. I'm not saying that they're not up to date, but just making sure that they continue to be updated and the public is able to get what they need, not only from the office itself, but also is it available online? What's your style of doing that?
When you're in management and also in a leadership role, you're only as good as the people around you. And I believe that. I learned that growing up through playing sports and being in athletics, also managing lots and lots of people. What I would do is just make sure that all my employees are trained and cross-trained on what they're doing and always following up and checking. And I like having a lot of meetings and stuff with my employees and stuff to check with them to see if they have any questions or concerns or any problems or any issues that arise or things that we may be able to do more efficient. and/or if there's ways that we can improve on, definitely look into that, to do that. So,
Okay. One thing I wanted to mention, any other candidates that have come in since I announced the different candidates that are here, whether you're a part of the forum or not, if you would let me know. I know Mr. Hanson has come in, so I want to make sure I acknowledge that he is here tonight. Any other candidates? I don't see anyone else. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure I do that. Jenny, kind of, same type of scenario here, ensuring that all court records stay up to date and are organized so that people are able to access what they need to access, and not only you, but your employees are able to do the same thing.
Yes, well, that is a daily task that us clerks do every single day. Every single file that we touch, every single warrant that we get in each day is being loaded and put into our system, into our database. And we did just recently go online where you can access those records. We are now offering a subscription to attorneys, judges, and we are opening that up to the public where they can actually buy a subscription to get documents online. And without the subscription, you can still access court dates and information online as well on our website. Not only that, but our physical files that we keep in office, those are kept up. They're periodically we have to rotate files. Our storage is in our archives at the old jail, and we are constantly having to rotate those files and keep those up constantly.
All right, thank you. All right, now, next question, this will be for Ms. Anthony. A courtroom can be a stressful environment. Anybody that would have to go to court, you understand that. How do you communicate with people to ensure that they stay calm, not just people there, but also with your workers that have to be inside that courtroom and knowing the situations that come up sometimes? You can kind of look at the docket sometimes and know, is there going to be problems? Is there a possibility of a problem? How do you go about communication level? You talked about communication earlier, but how do you stress about staying calm in those situations?
Absolutely. So that is a great question, and that is a very common thing that we deal with on day-to-day basis, especially in our criminal courts. We have a lot of serious cases that come through, and I think, like you said, communication, we do communicate daily with our court officers, as we know what case is coming up. We know if it's a serious case or some type of violent case. We do communicate with one another and ensuring each other what's going on, and that way we have a plan ahead of time on how to act in that type of situation, and to just us being able to communicate with each other as a team, that we know what is going on, and just we deal with these type of things on a day-to-day basis, so we're all very prepared to handle those type of situations.
Okay. Josh, in your experience there, and both of you have experience in the office, so what about this type of situation, that doing things differently than what Jenny talked about? Is there something else?
luckily, I was able to clerk the 3 courts and stuff, so I've been in General Sessions Court, I've been in Juvenile Court, and also Criminal Court. Each one of the courts are totally different. It does make me feel comfortable that the deputy has a gun beside me. And I have been in situations, and most all of our judges handle situations very, very professionally. And we, like Ms. Anthony said, we know on the docket a contested case or a heated case when it comes up, just to be aware of it. We let the judge know, the deputies know, and The biggest thing is, like you said, just the communication part. I've been in court. I've been in court where, it's gotten very, very heated. Been in court before when juveniles have jumped the rail and tried to run out of the courtroom. And like I said, it helps having a good team in place, and then also having great communication before and after court. And those relationships that you build with the judges and the attorneys and stuff, everybody does a good job, but every day is different. So you handle those situations however they come.
Okay. All right, next question will be for you. What are the most important details, and we've heard of these many times, they happen, most important details of a court order? And what I'm trying to do here is your knowledge of laws and procedures that go about when it comes to a court order that's come down and someone appears and wants to know why in this court, what's going on here.
When you're in court and you're working with judges and stuff, and they do an order, or you're typing up an order, the attorneys have a chance to look them over. Also, the judges have a chance to look them over. Some orders and stuff that we get, it's very important to get them file stamped and the time put on them when they come in. And just the knowledge and stuff of each court kind of has their own different, rules and stuff that they kind of go by of what is their kind of do's and don'ts. We must do this, we must do that. And the biggest thing is, getting the dates and times right and the signatures of everybody that's involved. Most orders and stuff, they need the attorney's signatures on there, and then also the judge's signature. And those documentations and the records and stuff, the judges do a pretty good job, and you follow up too, of writing down and documenting what they want in the order. And a lot of attorneys and stuff also type their own orders and stuff up to bring them in for the judges to look at, to have them sign.
Okay. Jenny?
Well, I guess it depends on what type of order it is, because like Josh was saying, there are so many different types of courts and they're all handled a little differently. But as far as the clerk goes, I think the most important is making sure it's filed, making sure that everything is properly entered, getting it in the database, and just, making sure that you've checked all your checkpoints, that everything is correct. And like I said, each order, and depending on what kind of order and the different types of courts, it just really depends on, what the order says and what it's for.
I know that was a big question, but I understand where you're going with it, and I understand where Josh was going as well, that there's so many different ones and so many different scenarios, and that's what this office deals with.
Right, and as clerks, it's our main goal to make sure that it is, handled properly and like he was saying, filed, stamped, and entered into the database, and just making sure that the type of information that's being entered in, if it's public or non-public, that's an important key.
I do want to mention, if any of you guys get thirsty, we are providing water. I think it is on this wall here, there's a cooler. So it's available till basically it runs out. We try to get as much as possible, but the crowd has grown as I've been looking out and trying to watch people come in. I think there has been another candidate that's made his way in. That is a county commission candidate, Tim Brown. I see that he's made his way in, so I just want to acknowledge other candidates that are coming here tonight, whether they are running or not. Is that Mr. Hunt right there? So I'm just trying to acknowledge everyone if I can. Okay. The following two questions, there will be a question for Ms. Anthony. There will be a question for Mr. Morris. These two questions were submitted by people that either listen to the radio station or they read our news online So these are questions that's coming from them. To be honest with you, I toned it down as much as I can, but I thought it was important that people feel like they're involved and be a part of the process. And if they've got questions, if they met you on the street, they probably would ask you then anyway. So it's a good chance for you to answer these type of questions. Jenny, we'll go with you first. When Heather Duncan left her position for a state job, the local judges signed off on an order for another person to be the interim clerk until the county commission met and decided who they wanted to be in that position. You were appointed by the commission over other persons that were wanting that position. Why do you think that they chose you over the others? What made you stand out to get that job, the job you hold now? This, listen, and I want to say this to all candidates. Sometimes you don't feel comfortable about attacking. Nobody likes attacking. And sometimes we don't feel comfortable about tooting our own horn or anything like that, especially in a public forum like this. But it's also a for you to point blank ask, to answer the question that comes your way. So I want everybody to feel as comfortable, because my portion of this is used off of questions that were sent into the radio station. So that's why I've come to this particular question. And Josh will have one of those type of questions as well.
Well, I'm going to answer that very quickly.
Okay.
Because I don't want to disrespect anybody in doing so. When the appointment came up, I immediately went to work and I made contact with each commissioner. I wanted them to know who I was, what I was about. I sent out packets to them all. I wrote them letters. I made phone calls. I met with some of them. And I do feel like that is mainly the main reason as to why they may have chose me. Maybe they felt like there was more of a connection. Anybody that knows, and also I feel like I encourage them to do their own homework, for them to reach out to the judiciary system. Most people, everyone that has worked in the court system, they know who I am. They've seen me in the courtrooms. I've clerked for Judge Letzinger for several years, and anybody that's ever been to court, they know who I am. So I did ask the commissioners that did choose me, that did vote for me, to reach out and do their homework.
Okay. All right. This question, again, submitted to Mr. Morris. And again, I'm not trying to attack anyone, but again, when someone asks in a campaign process, it is important that questions be answered. So I stress that for not just them, but for the rest of the night as well. Josh, when you were the director of the Manchester Recreation Department, some questions arose about the budget and maintenance, and you received a demotion, and another person who was in charge at that time was brought back in. Some Facebook posts have been made recently about these issues. Can you explain what happened in this process?
To be honest, Lucky, I didn't even know the letter that you're talking about even existed in my personnel file until a couple of months ago when someone's neighbor posted it on Facebook. About that letter, to the people that have seen it or looked at it, if you'll notice, it's dated July the 3rd, 2008, and wasn't put in my personnel file until March of 2009. And like I said, my signature is not on this letter or anything to my knowledge. I didn't even know it existed until just a couple months ago, but I still will address it. I was a director there for 3 years. 2 years, didn't have any budget issues or problems. The third year, we went on a city mandate freeze other than just emergency only. I chose to fix and use the money for the rec center to keep it open during the busiest time of the year. So it hit where we collect, I would say 80% of all our money and stuff at the rec center in the summertime is our busiest time. So I chose to use the money to fix stuff that was needed to keep our doors open for the citizens of Coffee County versus to have it closed. Also in the letter, there's a mentioning of 2 times that I said I was busy whenever the mayor called me, and that was correct, I was busy. I was filling in for the night weekend supervisor. You have to have a manager on duty. He had called in, and I, of course, went in and took his spot and filled in. That's pretty much it. I've managed budgets and stuff, and the 2 out of the 3 years didn't have any problems, and I chose to fix what was needed to fix to keep the doors open so we could continue to collect the money that we needed to, or the deficit would even been worse that year.
Okay. This one will be interesting, and I know that there will be candidates that don't want to do this, and that's okay too. It's totally left up to you. The candidates were given this opportunity, and that's all it is an opportunity. And Josh, it'll be with you first since you went second there. We are allowing the candidates to ask each other a question if they choose to. It's not required. It's not a slap in their face if they choose not to, but the availability is there to do this if they want to. So Josh, I'll turn my attention to you. Do you have a question for Ms. Anthony this evening?
I do not have a question for Ms. Anthony. My goal here tonight is to inform the Coffee County voters and stuff of my qualifications and my leadership skills to be the next Circuit Court Clerk of Coffee County.
Ms. Anthony.
I do have a question, only out of concern. Josh, it has come to my attention that you have quit your full-time job that you just started in November to campaign full-time. In your announcement, you stated you had interest in leaving the Circuit Court Clerk's office since 2010, that you ran as a Democrat for county trustee in 2014. You state you're no stranger to commitment, but yet you worked in the Circuit Court Clerk's office on 3 different occasions, as well as numerous other jobs. My question to you is, can you explain to voters what your commitment and loyalty is to the Circuit Court Clerk's office after being hired and leaving numerous times and running for county trustee in 2014?
Josh.
In 2014, when I run as a Democrat, that's been a long time ago, and things have changed. I think if you look at my voting record and also my Facebook posts and stuff over the last couple of years, you would know 100% that I'm not a Democrat. To the other questions that she said, yes, I did leave the clerk's office for about a month to take a promotion. I had a young family at the time, and then I come back, and the position was not filled, and I worked there throughout the rest of my career. And then I was approached by a home health company for another promotion, which was a pretty great promotion for me and my family, and I took it. Through taking that, has given me the leadership and the skills and stuff over the last 6 or 7 years for me to grow as a person and as a leader. To your other question, I did take time off from my current position because I felt like I was not giving them 100% of my dedication and time, and my mind was not where it needed to be, and I just didn't think it was fair to them to not give them 100% of me. When I do something, it's 100%. With my college degree and my experience and stuff, it's going to be very easy for some odd reason if I do lose this election May 3rd for me to find another position and with my career.
All right. We are going to now have closing statements. Ms. Anthony, you will go first on the closing statement.
I just want to thank you all for being here and allowing me the opportunity to speak in front of you tonight. I just want you to know that the Circuit Court Clerk's office, upon being hired, I knew I had found my place in life, and it is my passion. I take the job very seriously, and I care for our office, the service we provide, and our work family. I just would appreciate your support and your vote in the Republican primary. Thank you.
All right, Josh, closing statement.
Thank you for this great opportunity to speak tonight. There's a lot of questions and stuff that come up, and I'm glad that they come up. It's kind of hard to defend yourself on social media. I don't get into mudslinging and anything like that. I'm here to run for Circuit Court Clerk on my background and everything that I've done in my professional career. It's physically impossible for me to come out and shake each and every one of your hand and ask you for your vote. But here, if you're watching, I would greatly appreciate your vote, and I will try my best to get out to see you and ask you personally for your vote.
All right, that will wrap up this portion of the political forum. We thank them for their time. We did run over. I was afraid that we might, but that's okay. Some will go faster, some will go slower, just according to the questions and the answers. But I appreciate Ms. Anthony, Mr. Morris. Thank you for doing this. I know it's not as comfortable as daily life is sometimes to do this with a lot of eyes on you, but I think it's important to let the voters know about your stuff. And I commend y'all both for putting your name out there and running a campaign, because I've been there and it's not easy. And I just commend you both for doing what you've done. Thank you. All right, you all may applaud them.